Let me guess. You're working on multiple projects, supporting different teams, saying yes to a lot of important things. But when you ask yourself, what's the one thing that I've led in the last year that clearly puts me on the promotion short list? It's not easy to answer. You're seen as reliable. People like working with you, which is a good thing. But you don't have a flagship project that says, "Oh, this is why they should bet on me." In this video, I want to fix that. By the end, you will know a couple of things. Number one, why promotion decisions often come down to one or two projects, the four tests of a promotion grade project, how to scan your current workload and choose the right one, and finally, how to shape it into a clear statement that positions you as shortlist material. Look, we're not going to invent fantasy projects. Nah. That's not part of the game we're going to be playing today. We're going to work with your real world. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it strategic. Let's go. Welcome to Workplace Multiplier, a podcast for ambitious professionals and senior leaders who want to turn their proven competence into visible career advancing results without burning out. In simple terms, they want to win at work and in life. I am Tola Akinshidere. I am a C-suite executive who has worked in Spanish, French, and English-speaking countries. As a senior executive, I've sat in rooms where we discuss who's ready for the next level, and seen how often these conversations comes down to one or two signature results. And I've also seen professionals who are competent and hardworking, but had no clear project anyone could point to. And in addition to this, I mentor professionals who want to move up, be trusted with bigger responsibilities, but refuse to play games or become political caricatures. This episode is about something very specific: choosing one project that makes it easy for leaders to say, yes, they should be on the promotion shortlist. Okay, first things first, let's be honest about how promotion discussions actually sound. Behind closed doors, senior leaders are not looking at every email you sent, every late night you worked, every task you completed. They are saying and asking questions like, what have they actually moved? What have they led that made real difference? Where have they taken ownership, not just done a good job? And very often the answer sounds something like she led the turnaround of this particular thing. He drove the implementation of this particular thing. They were the ones behind the project that fixed this particular problem. In other words, promotion decisions are often anchored on one or two flagship projects. If you don't have that, what typically would happen here is this, and I'm sure you probably have heard this kind of thing. You get described as things like, oh, this person is solid, he's reliable, he's a good team player, he's very helpful. You see, those are nice words. The only problem is that they are not short list words. So the goal of this episode is pretty simple. I want to help you find or design, if you don't have, a project that moves you from reliable to ready for more. To do that, we need to have a very clear definition of what a promotion grade project actually is. Let's talk about the four tests of a promotion grade project. Not every big task is a promotion project. Not every stressful thing is a promotion project either way. I'm sure you don't like to hear that. I want you to think of promotion grade projects as those that pass four tests: organizational gravity, boss's pressure point, visible stakeholder impact, and real ownership in 90 days. So let's break them down with key examples. So number one, organizational gravity. The question at this point really here is this: does this project connect with something that leadership actually measures during this particular season? Most organizations are obsessed with a small set of things, and I'm sure most of you are pretty familiar with it. You're talking about things like revenue, like cost, like risk, customer experience, speed of delivery. Look, if your project doesn't touch any of this, it can still be useful, but it's unlikely to be promotion defining. You see, let me give you another weak example. For example, I coordinated the monthly internal newsletter. It's nice, it's helpful, but it's not shortlist level. What does that mean? What does that contribute to? A stronger example here is this: I led a project that reduced customer complaint resolution time from 10 days to 4 days. Now, that's what we're really talking about, which let's even extend it. It improved our net promoter score and reduced churn. Can you just believe that kind of thing? Now we're talking speed. For example, customer experience, potential revenue retention. That's organizational gravity. Everything you've basically packaged into that. That's the thing that really counts for an organization. So let's go to number 2, the boss's pressure point. The question here is this: does this project relieve real pressure for my boss? Your boss probably wakes up thinking about, for example, the numbers they own, the problems that are sitting on their desk, the things that their own boss and peers are actually pushing them on. A promotion grade project doesn't just make your life interesting, it makes your boss's life easier in a way that really, really matters. Let me share a couple of weak examples. Oh, I took over some tasks to free up my boss's time. What the heck does that mean? It's good heart, but it's vague. For example, a stronger example would be this: my boss was under pressure because our team kept on missing deadlines on particular X. Yeah. I led the project to redesign the workflow, which cut delays by 40% and reduced escalation to my boss. Now your boss can say, they didn't just help, they solved a real problem for me. That's a pressure point project. Let's go to number 3, visible stakeholder impact. The question here is this: will people beyond my immediate team feel or see the impact? Promotion is not just about your direct manager's opinion. When your name comes up, other people in the room should be able to say, oh, yes, I know them. They led that project that helped us with X. If the impact never leaves your corner, your project is politically invisible. For example, let me give you a weak example. I improved our internal file organization. Well, it's useful for your team, but most of your team probably feels it, but nobody else feels it outside of your team. A stronger example would be this: I led the rollout of a simpler intake process for internal requests from sales, which reduced their waiting time and increased completion rates. Sales leadership called it out in their team meeting. Now, what basically has happened here? Sales members can feel it. Their leadership can see it. Your name is associated with a positive change, and that is stakeholder impact. So let's go to number 4, real ownership in 90 days. The question you should be able to ask yourself here is this: can I honestly say I led this, and can it show real progress in about 90 days? Promotion grade projects are not just, I helped to do this, I contributed. No, that's not what it is. What they basically do is this: they sound like I owned the design, I coordinated the implementation, I was the driver who made sure it happened. And they are focused enough that in a 90-day window, something meaningful changes. You can literally tell a story that starts and ends in a quarter. Here are some weak examples, which you probably might be familiar with. I contributed to a long-term transformational project that will run for 2 years. You see, there may be good work there, but it's hard to pinpoint your specific contribution in a time-bound way. A stronger example would be something like this. Within the larger transformational project, I took ownership of redesigning the onboarding process for one region. In 90 days, we reduced onboarding time by 30% and improved satisfaction scores. Now, that's ownership. So let's do something. Let's put everything together. A promotion grade project is one where you can look leadership in the eye and say, over this quarter, I led X, which moved organization priority, this, and by created this impact. I relieved pressure on my boss and stakeholders, felt the difference. That's the level we're aiming for. Now, let's find out something in your current world that fits into it or can be shaped to fit into it. Let me get something very clear. We're not trying to romanticize your job. We're going to take what you already have and make it strategic. I want you to do this in 3 passes. Very, very simple. 3 passes. List your current and recent projects. Run them through 4 tests. Upgrade or reshape one project so it qualifies. So pass 1, list all your projects, whether on a piece of paper or on a document. Literally write them all down. Up to 5 to 8 projects you are involved in if you have that volume, or in the last 6 to 12 months. A project is more than a task. It is something that has a clear purpose, has stakeholders, and runs for weeks or months. And there are different examples. I'm sure you're probably familiar. So for example, a new client onboarding process, an internal reporting automation, launching a particular product in a particular market, revamping client complaints handling, for example, implementing a new software for your team, which has a bigger impact. Bottom line here is this: don't overthink, just list. So that's done with pass one. Let's go to pass two. You run each through the four tests. For each project, you need to ask organizational gravity. Does this touch revenue, cost, risk, customer, or delivery? Number two, does it address boss's pressure point? Is my boss under pressure for this? Number three, is there a visible stakeholder impact? Will people beyond my team feel it? And then, of course, the final one: ownership in 90 days. Can I own meaningful slice in a quarter? Give each project a rough gut score. Strong, maybe, weak. You're the one who decides that. You know the project. You probably get 1 to 2 that look strong, a few maybes, and some that are just clearly just maintenance projects. So let's do pass three. And pass three, what you're trying to do is you're trying to upgrade or reshape one project. Sometimes you don't have a promotion grade project yet, but you are near one. Two options. Option one: upgrade scope within an existing project. You need to ask yourself this question: can I take ownership of a clearly defined piece of it? So let's take an example. Instead of helping with the whole CRM rollout, you can own the design and lead the rollout of one region or one segment with clear before and after matrices. So not for the whole CRM, but you basically take one particular area. So instead of general process improvements, what you can also own, for example, reduce processing time for a specific step from 7 days to 3 days over this particular quarter. On option two, you can design a small, sharp project about a real pain. You need to ask your boss to do this. I've been doing this. What's the one recurring problem that if fixed this quarter would make a visible difference to you and stakeholders? Then offer, I'd like to take ownership of working on that within a defined scope so that in 90 days we can see a clear improvement. You're not asking for permission to play hero. You're asking for ownership of a concrete pain point. Your goal is to end this exercise with this: one project that passes the four tests, even if you have to be narrow and reshape it a bit. That becomes your promotion project. Once you choose your promotion project, you need to be able to say clearly, here is a simple template. In the next 90 days, I'm leading a project to move the metric and the outcome from current state to a better state for stakeholders, so that you need to now link to the organizational priority or the boss's pay pressure. Examples. For example, in the next 90 days, I am leading a project to cut our customer response time from 72 hours to 24 hours. Lovely, I dare say, for our top tier clients, so that we improve retention and reduce escalations to senior management. That's lovely to hear. Or in the next 90 days, I'm leading a project to reduce invoice processing error by, let's say, 50% for our finance and sales teams, so that we speed up collections and reduce friction between teams. That's the kind of sentence you can use with your boss. You can use it with stakeholders. And your boss can actually use it when they're talking about you in terms of, oh, this is what this person is doing, this is blah, 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 and things like that. In episode 5, in episode 5, we've already said that, look, this promotable result, you can now take it and turn it to a 90-day sprint. Right now, we just want you to just have that one sharp sentence, which you can take and implement based on what we already have in episode 5. So as you choose your project, avoid 3 traps. Trap number 1, vanity project. This is a project that looks glamorous but fails the 4 test. It doesn't move a real metric. It doesn't relieve real pleasure. It doesn't create stakeholder impact. It just looks good on social media or internal PR. Leaders might actually smile at it, but they won't promote you for it. Number 2, the invisible project. This is a project that has impact, but nobody knows you led it. Stakeholders don't associate it with you, but your boss can't easily explain your role. Impact without association doesn't help your promotion. In later episodes, I'm going to help you make sure that your project is seen in a very, very clean way. Now, trap number 3, that's the orphan project. This is a project you care about, but your boss hasn't bought in. It doesn't link to any real priority that the organization have. So effectively, you're working alone in a corner. It might be interesting. It might even be useful. But if it is not anchored to organizational priorities, it's not anchored to your boss's pressure points, you don't have stakeholder buy-in, it's not likely that it's going to move you into the shortlist for those who need to be promoted. You want a project that is, let me tell you, first and foremost, it is anchored. Number 2, it is visible. And number 3, it clearly sponsored by reality. So Everything we've done here is conceptual, practical, but still high level. So to turn this into a concrete promotion grade 90-day result, you need a simple way to be able to connect your project to what leadership really, really cares about. Ties to your boss's pressure points, check visibility and ownership, and also tighten the wording. And that's why I created the free 90-day result selector. In about 10 minutes, it helps you to identify your organization's number one priority, which is very, very much important. Name your boss's pressure points, list your current projects, test which of them has the strongest promotion potential, and then shape one into a clear 90-day result with 5-point checklist. Practically, look, it's pretty simple. You can use what we did in this episode to pick your candidate project, and then use the 90-day result selector to lock it in as a 90-day result you can sprint on. Once you've done that, episode 5, which you can go back to watch, shows you exactly how to break it into milestones, protect time for it, run a weekly sprint review, and then build a story you can later use in promotion conversation. The link to the 90-day result selector is in the description. You can always get access to it immediately. So let's recap. To find the one project that puts you on the promotion shortlist, number one, you need to accept that promotion conversations often hinge on one or two flagship projects. Number two, you need to use the 4 tests, which is organizational gravity, your boss's pressure points, visible stakeholder impact, real ownership in 90 days. And then number 3, scan your current workload, list up to between 5 to 8 projects, score them against the 4 tests, upgrade or reshape one so that it qualifies. And then number 4, you need to turn it into a clear statement. In the next 90 days, I'm leading the projects to move X from A to B for stakeholders so that and you link that we to the main priority of the organization. Finally, number 5, you need to avoid traps. Traps like your vanity projects, invisible projects, orphan projects, avoid them. Once you've chosen that project, use the free 90-day result selector to sharpen it into a promotion grade 90-day results. Then plug it into the 90-day sprint structure, which we've already walked through in episode 5. Thank you very much. Now, if this helped, I need you to hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the series that I'm going to be dropping out for the rest of this season. Share this with a colleague who is always busy but can't clearly answer what's the one project that should put you on the promotion shortlist. In the next episode, we're going to shift from project to identity, how to move from being seen as a reliable workhorse to being treated as a strategic partner at work. Because the right project is powerful, but it's even more powerful when people already see you as someone who thinks and operates at the next level. And so I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. You don't need 10 impressive projects. You just need one that clearly answers the most important question. Thank you very much for sticking around with me. Keep winning at work and in life, and I will see you at the next episode.